Hello everyone, and welcome to another match of the Ori All-Skills Tournament. This is going to be Roryrai versus Noxus of the Phil Division. I'm Poogle. Bet you guys were expecting Fooligen. Well, here he is.
Hi. I'm still here.
How are you doing, Vula?
I'm good. You can't get rid of me that easily, guys. Yeah. So we got Roryrai. I'm not even trying, Poogle. I swear to God, I'm not trying to do that. It's just happening. Roryrai versus Noxus here in the round of 48. This is the, I think, the second to last matchup from that round that we have just had delayed slightly, but now we'll be able to get to. Winner of this faces Wilson. Poogle, what do you know about this matchup?
Well, I know that Rory gave us a very long set of stuff for this match, so more information is always better.
We could actually probably just spend the entire time before this match just reading Rory's novel about how he's going to approach this race. I really like it. By comparison, Noxus provided us about 3 lines of very simple. Basically, Noxus is kind of just going to focus on this race, but will have Rory's stream open and is kind of basically, as you see from this PB difference, pretty much hoping that Rory has some major mistakes and that he'll be able to take advantage of those. But, you know, Rory, for his part, he mostly is going to treat this as a PB attempt until that's not within reach. Then it's a race, and he's just going to focus on winning.
Yeah, both of these runners, being on keyboard and mouse, have access to the scroll wheel shooting, the slightly different angles for certain tricks, so it's going to be pretty hard-pressed if Rory's going to take a really bad death or just a bunch of spaghetti somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, there's lots of options for safety, so Rory is a very experienced runner. He knows about lots of things he can do to make things safer for himself. Noxus, interesting thing about him, he found a use for Bash Grenade in this category. He's in the missed stats. He actually has a strat that he does in the Horror Escape that I saw him practicing right before this race. We'll see whether he opts to bring it out at the end here. Does not save that much time, but is always fun to see. But we should be getting started just about now. Hey, there you go.
Oh my goodness, I hope that we're going to be able to see that strat.
It's a pretty risky and silly strat involving, as mentioned, a bash and grenade, and a grenade jump, which is everyone's favorite thing. But we'll get there in about 30 plus minutes. For now, we're going to start with some running and jumping and holding left.
And at least we can at least see both Oris.
That's true. They both did color code, and they're both pretty nice colors. Which of these do you prefer, Poogle?
I prefer the blue.
You know, I'll go with that too. Rory's is kind of has like an olive tint to it. It's kind of like an olive-ish yellow green kind of thing.
It's a bit more brown to me.
Puke color? I think it's puke color.
Why would you ever bring that up?
We're picking up Spirit Flame, both runners basically.
There we go. That's a much better color. That's not. Oh no. Okay, that's slightly better. For a second there, we had this gray purple Ori on Rory's side. That would not have been good.
All right, well, now there's a slight difference we can talk about here. Actually, you did mention the task shooting earlier, but actually Rory does not use the scroll wheel method for shooting. He opts to pace his shots. I'm not sure exactly why that is. It's usually because the runner already has the double bash setup on their scroll wheel, so they don't have room to set up a Spirit Flame bind. But in Noxus' case, he did use that, so they're pretty much neck and neck still, with Rory getting trolled by the jump pad there. Fun.
Not just getting trolled by the jump pad, but accidentally having to take both animations, one on, one off. So that's going to give Noxus a bit of a early lead, considering that he just got to jump on there and go.
Yeah, but of course these early leads don't mean too much. Rory doesn't end up killing that slime. We'll see how that plays into his XP routing. I think his HP is fine. He should be able to take his 1 HP Ghost Ore. That certainly looks good. And Noxus likely the same. So those are going to be nice and quick. Yep, there they are.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Almost simultaneous Ghost Ore. Oh no. Did we duplicate stream again?
I think they're doing different jump patterns, but boy, the colors are pretty much the same, and the timing is the same. I don't know, Poogle.
All right, Rory got his health just a little before Noxatu, so we should be okay.
Yeah, just to avoid alarming our restreamer, they do definitely seem to be different streams. Rory, unfortunately, missing the jump up to that flower to pick up that XP. But again, these are only small differences. Both runners still doing overall very well on this segment and having pretty good pace.
Now, I'm wondering if Rory's going to have to level on the way back up. Like, get the jump pad, not the jump pad, get the flower going down, and then just get the one coming back up to level anyway.
Yeah, we saw a brief flash of his XP counter there, and it does appear very low. So yeah, he will be taking the level up on the way out. Looks like Naxidu took it on the way in and was able to blow up those brambles, while Rory will both blow them up and collect the XP from them.
That'll be good. So they're still pretty close, but anything can happen Blackroot, and, well, Blackroot is just awful.
Yeah, and wall jump is one of the segments where you're least likely to see a major difference between runners of like wildly different PBs, because even though Rory's PB is substantially faster than Noxitu's, wall jump being the segment that you deal with the most in the speedrun because of resets, most runners are going to have fairly similar times. There are variants of at most about 10 seconds.
No, it's not a reset, it's just IL practice.
Ah, of course, yes. When you sit down and you're like, all right, time for PB attempts, by which I mean wall jump ILs.
That sounds about right.
All right, well, we're still like basically neck and neck, Poogle. This is really impressive so far, even despite what I just said. Like, it's still really cool to see the runners literally just the same spot basically the entire time for this first 4.5 minutes.
Looks like neither of them are going to go for the Terra save, and I am made a liar out of almost immediately.
Wow, what a liar. How can we accept this commentary from you with these lies being spewed? Spewed? Is that the correct?
Spewed sounds about accurate.
Well, it's fine. We're doing save anywhere. This is good. This will give me an opportunity to distract from the thing that I just said as we learn an ability, skip a cutscene, reload the game. You've seen this a number of times in the tournament, but you know, always a good thing to just remind people of. And we are headed into Blackroot Burrows now, with Rory being able to edge out Noxy2 with a slight lead now.
Just because of movement alone is going to take a damage on the spikes there. Any of the damage... Oh, did take the save because of it. Any of these spikes down below are going to utterly kill him.
Yeah, this is a great safety save to take there. You can either take it before jumping across, which is a little bit more safe, or if you're confident in being able to jump across to the left without dying, you can take it afterwards without actually losing any time at all. You just hold the save button down and it will drop at the right time. You see Roryrai now doing a reload to manipulate his platform cycles a little bit further to the right here. Noxy2 opts not to do that, instead dropped his save up at the 100 XP orb. So he may go for a save and reload. No, in fact, will not. Just drops safety saves. Good strat. Will mean that he gets a slightly slower platform cycle. You see Rory here gets here as these platforms arrive, but actually Noxy2 not that far behind on his platforms either.
Now, what's going to be interesting is that Rory might have to kill an extra slime on the way out or get the 15 experience orb, because I think he's going to be pretty low considering he did that reload.
It sounds like he was 38 XP away when he entered Blackroot Burrows, thanks to Richard and the truck for helping us out with that number. So that means if he collects 2 slimes worth of XP, which he has, that's 24, and that'll leave him 14 away from level, which should be good. Noxy2, meanwhile, did collect 3 slimes worth of XP. That's 36, so he's 2 away from level, as you see his little ball orb thing. Sphere, circle, whatever. It's nearly full at the bottom on his UI.
I missed that from the truck. Thank you, truck. My numbers are also slightly skewed when it comes to this, so I'm just going to let Bula take this part. As I am one of those crazy people.
The magnetless madwoman. But
hey,
yeah,
at least it's not as mad as Eviona, because they do something even crazier.
That's true. But we'll focus on the 2 runners here, of course, getting a nice view of their XP counts here. Now, Noxitu had told us he was going to go for the dash cutscene stack. So that's what you're seeing here. It looks like he caught up, so to speak, a little bit, but actually he has to wait a little bit longer here. He's going to get control during the tree animation here. So this will save about 2 seconds overall compared to Rory, who went for the more traditional cutscene stack. But now he's going to have to do some blind movement leaving Blackroot Burrows. This is a little bit risky. We'll see. There's a dash glide over a pit that he is able to make, and you see he's able to make it all the way out while that tree animation was still going. So really nice little time save for Noxetu.
Yeah, that's always a little scary, considering that if you screw up there, then you end up falling. You end up falling into the spikes down below. And if you end up getting saved in there, getting infinite is really bad.
Yeah, we saw 3 runners. Oh, goodness. That's 2 damage for Noxetu, but he had not taken damage because of doing the cutscene stack. So he's actually okay to continue the Frankie walk here. This is actually unusual. Most runners will have taken a damage leaving BRB, but he's going to be okay. Rory getting the energy, continuing the pattern of the higher seeded player, able to get the bonus energy entering the Death Gauntlet. We'll see if Noxetu does, but Rory does not take a death here, so he is fine. And no bonus
no, he
energy
doesn't.
for Nox. That's so rude. Come on, game.
Well, he is taking something, I believe, out of Smashy's book, who also tends to wait for that Frankie to just barely not jump on top before going under.
Yeah, I think we've seen that from a couple other runners as well. It's a really cool little thing. Rory going for the early grotto cycle. He told us that he's not at all confident in this trick, so he didn't really expect to get it. You saw the 0% success rate of the tournament so far. He told us he would have been really excited to get it, but he was not expecting it. Nox also having the same 0% success rate and also having trouble with it. This is a very precise and difficult trick, Poogle.
Yeah, and getting 1 frame's even worse. But both runners did make a save. Rory getting a bit trolled by that spider over there who just wouldn't shoot him.
Yeah, and he expresses, that's a rough death. He expresses in the language of mouse movements, ooh, which is one of the 2 noises you can make and usually indicates either being really excited or being really annoyed or being really upset. You know, one of many things, really.
That it does.
Poogle, did he just set up save anywhere on that glitch? I think he might have.
To be fair, for a long time before it was blatantly pointed out to me, I actually did save anywhere for that. Because it wasn't pointed out to me that with that tree, you can actually just, or even with Charge Flame, if you need to, you can just make the save, start the cutscene, and then just go into the menu from there.
Yeah, I'm not. That could either have been that or just a brain fart or who even knows. Maybe I missaw as well. Rory going into his grotto skip with a 33% success rate. Those are 2 misses so far, and the third one's not good. So unfortunately, underperforming that. Nox is now coming in, so Nox is being able to catch up. But Rory does get it now. Noxetu going for his first attempt, not successful. He has a slightly lower success rate at about 1 in 4, and that's 3 misses. Oof, one of them really costly. Oh no. Nox had a chance to catch up Poogle, but unfortunately not quite able to take advantage of it, but he is able to get on the 5th try.
Yeah, that's one of the few early game movement sections that can cause people a lot of trouble. And there is the opportunity for catch-up or lead changes, especially in this area, be it with the early grotto skip, or just having to go up these walls. But Noxetu having some pretty clean movement, actually going on the left side of the platform there for that.
Well, that was pretty cute. I really like that little movement. It's a nice small optimization as far as that specific way that he is going up those platforms. It's a little complicated to explain why, but a nice little optimization there. Rory, meanwhile, going for a different kind of optimization, the ninja jumps that he's performing going up these walls. It's just jumping off the wall with neutral inputs so that you can go back to the wall more quickly. He's pulling those off pretty well, so he may even be saving time with them, which is pretty hard to do as a human.
Now that's a hyperspeed you don't see every day.
Yep, you usually don't take a death there, but if you do pull off that hyperspeed, it saves a little time of the death cost that you actually get. It's not overall faster, but at least it makes the death a little bit less costly.
And looks like he's going to even get a proper spinner cycle with that as well, so doesn't look like much harm with what's done.
Who almost missed the activation of the teleporter there, but now he's good. Rory had told us that he would be pretty happy with certain milestones, and one of them, I believe, was a 12-minute enter Ginso. Looks like he's going to be able to pull that off. This will be a 12:50 or so, or a 12:50 and change, I should say.
Yeah.
There it is. And Nox still not that far behind, actually. You know, Rory's not really making major mistakes or anything, but neither is Nox, other than that grotto skip causing him some problems. So hopefully that continues for both runners. You'd like to see them both just play well and not make major mistakes, but you certainly expect with that big PB difference, you're going to see that start to come into play more as they continue along. The difference in skill will probably manifest a lot more as they get to areas like Misty.
Yeah, but Rory looks like he actually missed a platform up in this room, but does manage to get a pretty decent gamer cycle out of it.
Yeah, he didn't end up falling too far. He didn't fall into the spikes, most importantly, Poogle, because that's not a pleasant time. Those spikes are pretty much a death sentence.
Even with the 4 health, those spikes, if they're not a death sentence by falling into them, Vula, they're a death sentence by not being able to get out.
Yeah, exactly. And you really don't want to experience that. Rory going for a little bit of swag, mess around while waiting for this shooter to shoot his next shot. Not really anything to do during that time, so runners have different ways of messing around during it. Nox is navigating the first part of Ginso pretty well, as Rory's going to come into the mini-boss, and again, we mentioned earlier, he does not have the scroll wheel shooting set up, so he'll potentially lose a little bit of time compared to Nox on this mini-boss. Nox actually opted for a shooter cycle manipulation here called Mr. Asmus cycle, but unfortunately did not get the fast shot there. So losing a tiny bit of time, not very much.
And Rory going to take the intentional damage to set up for the Ghost Door. Being on 4 health, it is something that is able to be done in here, with him exiting the mini-boss room just as Nox2 is getting into it.
Yeah, and you saw that Rory was able to get a 7 cycle on the mini-boss, which is not super terrible or anything, so Nox not going to be able to save that much time just by virtue of the scroll wheel shooting. At most 2 cycles, which is about 8-ish seconds tops. But Rory, meanwhile, is coming into the bash tree. He had been hoping for a 14-minute bash time. Not quite able to pull that off, but this is still decent pace for him. And Nox also getting a 7 cycle, so not able to realize that time save there.
You know, Rory is going to come up to the second part of the Ginso tree. Now, the Ginso tree is kind of put into thirds. The first third being up until the bash tree, the second third being the bash tree to the core, and the third we really never get to see.
Yeah, we're going to be leaving before we perform that last section. Nox will be picking up bash right here. Rory is just going...
Hey, that's pretty cute.
Yeah, that's actually kind of like the old optimal strats. Before we figured out that you could set up a save on the platform above that one, we used to do that. Rory getting his key dupe very cleanly with the bash directly into the correct position. So nice job by him. And that's some intentional damage there. Having to do 1 extra double bash there, but still safely getting up. Can't take any more damage here. He recognized that. So good play by Rory so far here. Nox is going for a slightly longer setup on this redirect puzzle, but he will be coming into his key dupe basically as Rory finishes that section. And will be going for the top platform save. So not bad. A little strat difference. Oh god, no, you can't save there. You didn't get the thing. The 6-shoot shark's still alive. You gotta save. Oh, Nox. Alright. It's fine. Everything's fine, Boogle. Everything is totally fine.
Everything is absolutely fine. Is it going to be fine going into Swamp, though?
Well, I certainly hope so. Rory is going to be heading there. Nox will be going pretty soon. Got his key dupe, so just needs to make his way out.
No, Nox died.
Oh, no, really? Oh, God, I looked away for just a minute. Poogle, why?
He ended up getting a death right there where he just did the damage boost. So there's the clean key dupe, but he is still behind. that
that's really
little bit of a death was unfortunate.
Yeah, that is really a shame. And he was 25 seconds ahead of his PB at Bash. So we'll see whether or not he's able to make up more of that time. There's certainly time to save. He definitely has the capability of beating his PB in this race, potentially. Rory coming into Swamp Entry, he was pretty close behind his PB as well. And, you know, he's really not had too much time to work on this category lately, but this Swamp Entry for him is showing some pretty good confidence. He actually opts to bail out of that second double bash and collect the ability cell, but he does get through. So good job by him, and he'll be making his way into the Stomp Tree now.
Is going to go for another hyperspeed. Rory's been really precise on these throughout this entire run.
Yeah, there it is. That hyperspeed not saving that much time, but he pulled off the menuing very cleanly. His menuing's been very nice in this run as well, opting for the damage boost on those spites there. So he's playing with some confidence here, and you know, maybe what you would call not swag, but swagger, having that you know, the confidence to just say, like, I can do all these hard strats.
Yeah, and he's going to be coming out of Swamp as Noxitu's coming in. Noxitu also going for the blind movement as Rory did. Now, the blind movement doesn't really save super much time, and Rory dies to the taking an unfortunate swim.
Ooh, and so does Nox, taking a bit of a dip in those spikes on the blind move. As you were just saying, it's not a super huge time save, and it's a little bit challenging too, but he does manage to get it safely the second time. And now we'll be entering some Swamp Entry. Go ahead.
The good thing about having that blind movement isn't per se for the blind movement, but for the fact of no lasers.
Yeah, that's right. There's going to be a very deadly surprise as you return back to this area. You'll see from Rory passing through that section pretty shortly. First, he does some nice double bashes on that frog to get an ability cell. Nox going for the single bash setup on the Swamp Entry and pulling it off very cleanly. So nice job by Nox and taking a swim, but having enough HP to survive. Rory pulling off the Kuro cutscene skip cleanly, and there were no lasers for him, so it was nice and safe on the way through. And Nox will also not be seeing those lasers, but... Oh, interesting, Nox not even bothering with the bash up to this platform, just goes off to the left and takes a slightly slower route, but definitely a lot safer.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't get quite enough height, which is unfortunate, but it happens. Rory almost going the wrong direction there for a second.
Yeah, we have a name for that now. We didn't have it before, but we call it a trash dash, where instead of dashing the direction you want, you dash the opposite direction and go somewhere weird. And Rory just had that happen, but fortunately just recovered quickly. And he's onto the Charge Flame tree on what looks like really good pace. This is a very impressive performance by Rory so far, and Nox is going to be hard-pressed to keep up with him, unfortunately.
Yeah, looks like he's gonna be pretty well ahead. Nox not liking that first frog bash.
Yeah, I think that was a good call. His frog was a little bit low. Might have been hard for him to get to the cell, but as you see there, no lasers, no problem. Does not need to worry about that. He'll come into his Kuro cutscene skip attempt momentarily. And
What
well
cutscene?
done. I don't know. What cutscene are we talking about, Poogle? We never seem to see any angry birds show up there.
Nah, so I still don't think it exists.
Well, here we have a slight strat difference between Rory and Nox. Rory did not opt to go for that health cell. You all right?
Sorry to cut you off, but Rory getting a corpse bash and choosing to make that save at the bottom of Fast Stompless, because that's just a little distressing, because basically anything would have killed him.
Yeah, that's a good play by Rory. Just make sure that you're safe. Being a little bit safer rather than sorry is pretty good. His shot for Fast Stompless looked pretty good, but that spider shot took a long time, and he's getting up to the cell. I don't think he got it. He doesn't think he got it. He shows his UI. I believe that is a missed cell. That is called sad cellless, and yeah, Rory will definitely be pretty sad about that. Well, we're going to see what his backup ends up being. He hasn't reloaded, so I'm guessing... Oh, he's mousing something. I'm not sure exactly. Oh, Oh. Poogle.
Oh, I believe he is going to do that. So,
Oh
I believe what he did say in that large amount of text that he sent us was that he might be going for juggling.
Yeah, Rory said it's been a while, but he knows how to crazy juggle, and he said that might be a backup for Sad Cellus. And based on the fact that he's
looks
not
like
gone,
we're going to get it.
yeah, he has not gone to pick up another ability cell, so he will be crazy juggling. I wonder if he'll... No safety save beforehand either, so here we go. He doesn't need necessarily to do all of these as crazy jugglers, so this is going really well so far. If any of these is more than 3-frame delay, he will hit the frog, deal too much damage to it, but he makes it all the way up. What a performance by Rory. Oh no! Oh, Poogle, no! Why?
I was holding my breath, and then oh dear lord!
Wow,
no.
That's such an unfortunate turn. He had such good execution on the crazy juggle, and then it turned around and just hit the laser with his face. I thought that his manipulation of the laser cycle was good, but unfortunately, that's one of those things you need that experience in crazy juggle to know. Meanwhile, Noxichu getting fast stompless. If Rory misses crazy juggle another time, or sorry, misses crazy juggle at all, or dies to the laser another time, Noxichu is right there. This is possibly one of the only things Noxichu could have expected to be able to keep up with Rory here.
That is just... Oh my goodness. That laser came out of nowhere. Now, I certainly don't have experience with crazy juggle, so I didn't see that coming at all. No,
Yeah,
no, Rory, just please no. Oh, okay.
He gets it this time. He is safe. And in Rory with that confidence, Noxichu is going to Misty? What?
I'm confused.
We have word from the folks in the stats truck, and I will relay that message to you as, huh?
Yeah.
This is fascinating. All right, I'm just gonna look back at Rory's screen. Noxichu is doing really well in Misty. Not having charge jump is gonna make this next section slightly slower.
No,
So
he's
the top.
This looks planned though, because he had no hesitation going up there.
That was some really nice dash movement. He's gonna pick up climb as Rory gets the charge jump. So having done the crazy juggle backup, unfortunately the death to the laser probably costing Rory a ton of time, but he is able to salvage the Sad Cellus, and he is now leaving Sorrow Pass and will be following Noxichu into Misty. And I'm not sure exactly why we're seeing this from Nox, but I guess we'll see what ends up happening when he gets to Sorrow in a little bit.
Has Noxichu been running any other categories?
Oh, ow, oh, ah, oh, okay. I'm not aware of that. This might, I mean, okay. So we do know some reasons why you might go to Misty first. One of them is, for example, you could skip Terra Break, and instead you have a different way to break. Ow, oh, that's a rough death for Nox. You can instead break the ceiling going up to Sunstone using a combination of climb and charge jump, which obviously you need climb to do. Unfortunately, that makes Misty a lot slower, especially this specific section right here. So maybe Nox is just kind of thinking this is like a better way to go. Maybe having skipped an ability cell or something. I'm not really sure what Nox is thinking. We'll have to ask him afterwards, but certainly there are reasons why you might do this. I'm just not sure what the reason specifically for Nox is.
I don't know. He's not taking a safety save at the 4th Keystone.
And he
dear.
goes for the meatball jump too. Ooh, boy.
Doesn't have any energy, but does decide to make the safety save instead, putting him back up to 4 health.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of fine because the energy count almost doesn't matter for the mini boss because he can't do any of the traditional quick kills. We'll see what he opts to do instead. Will he drop a safety save before this? No. So how is he gonna... Okay, just the charge dash. That's actually not bad as a quick kill method. The charge dash reflecting the projectile at the mini bosses. But he unfortunately also won't get a level up, so his exit is going to be a little bit slower too. As Rory's just... Oh boy! Okay. Wow. Rory's fine. Nothing bad just happened. Everything's alright. He drops a save
except for the fact that he dropped like 2 energy and then a save.
Yeah, I mean, the save is for no particular reason. Everything was completely fine, right?
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, Nox is now dropping to the bottom of Valley to pick up some XP for a level up and rocket jump to the top of the Valley area, and he'll begin his Sorrow Bash momentarily. Unfortunately, doing Misty early does not save you from having to do this trick. You would have to go all the way to Forlorn for that, and yeah, we're not doing that. Oh no. Okay, well, Nox took a safety save before this, so that's not too bad of a death. And Rory going for his quick kill on this mini boss.
What mini boss?
The one that just vaporized under Rory's onslaught there.
Oh, I was watching Axetox just get a really nice clean second attempt at Sorrow Bash.
Yep, and he does intentionally take some damage on that Sorrow Bash. He doesn't have a great setup to be able to do it without damage, but the 5 HP makes it straightforward for him to get in. He'll also pass on the rocket jump to get up here faster. We'll see what he does after he picks up charge jump, Google.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. I don't believe I've seen this from really anyone recently.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm not aware of anyone having done this route in a race before, and we'll see what Nox pulls off as he'll be leaving. Rory is entering Blackroot Burrows again, the second visit to pick up the grenade skill, and Nox, the deficit between them still pretty similar. Oh, taking an unfortunate death there, but that's not really going to make too huge of a difference, as Rory still had a pretty significant advantage. The charge crazy juggle death, that is, not really being enough to get Nox back into it, and Nox is setting up for Terror Break, so I'm a little confused. Might be intending to take the teleporter out of Sorrow, feeling that that's a little bit faster, but we'll see.
True, but the real question is that faster from doing all of Misty with that charge jump?
Yeah, probably not. Also, Noxy2 had a little bit of trouble setting up Terror Break, but had an extra ability point. So was able to actually reset up his Terror Break save and go again. So that's really interesting. And yeah, it does sound like what he thinks is that the teleporter is faster. So he will be taking that teleporter on the way out, which is another benefit of doing Misty first. Unfortunately, I believe our timing is that it is not, in fact, faster. Rory having, wow, just getting his tail singed by that laser, but is still alive and will be having acquired grenade, will be leaving Blackroot Burrows and not dying.
I wouldn't say he got singed at all from that laser. That laser's hitbox is dreadful.
That's true. Well, here we go with the the wall charge jump to get to the teleporter. This is something always interesting to see, and will be taking it out to get to Blackroot. What a weird route to be seeing suddenly in a tournament race, Google. Not what I expected from this race.
Yeah, that's... I mean, whatever works for the runner.
Yeah. I mean, Rory right now is coming into the end here. And again, Rory had told us if he was not on PB pace, he was going to treat this as win at all costs. So his method of telling whether or not he could skip grenade jump was going to be if he is entering the final escape while his opponent is at the grenade tree, he believes that's enough of an advantage that he can skip the grenade jump. And I believe he will be pretty close to that as long as he pulls off a first try door warp. If he doesn't, he might feel that he still needs to do the grenade jump, but we'll see how that works. as he is doing door warp now. Noxy2 coming to the grenade tree now.
And that is first try door warp, so it's going to be pretty close whether or not he feels he can skip a grenade jump.
Yeah, they are at the same moment. They're doing that. Rory is mousing out. No, he will be... I think he will be skipping the grenade jump. Either that or he says, no, I can't skip it. I don't know, Google. It could be either one.
Well, it looks like we are just going to have to see. He's going through the escape. Gets a really nice lava pillar cycle.
Yeah, Rory with some great execution here so far. Manages to get through that wall quickly.
Oh, dear!
Oh, no, he's okay. Does not float into the fire. Everything's fine. He takes 6 HP for this swim so that he is able to take that 5th damage and still survive. And now we're making our way up to see whether or not he's going to grenade jump. Judging by that angle of his mouse, he is going to the right, and he will finish the race victorious and move on. Unfortunately for Noxy2, he will be eliminated here, but Noxy2 was ahead of PB at grenade, I believe, so we're going to see if he's able to pull that out here. Oh, good actual God. Look at that prescient save that Noxy2 made here. That might even potentially save the PB pace for him.
I hope it does. Looks like he's going to have to take another little bit there, and here's one of the grenade jumps that he's just going to take a single attempt at and then just go.
Now, with Nox being on PB pace, I wonder if he will actually skip that fancy strat that he has in the final escape with the bash grenade.
Depends on if his PB is with it or without it.
We'll find out. We've got, of course, our folks in the truck who are doing a great job keeping track of all that stuff for us, and whatever they're able to get for us is always great. Meanwhile, Nox beginning door warp attempts with a 30% success rate in the tournament, so that first attempt not successful, but maybe soon he'll be able to pull it off. Usually most runners' PBs, if they're in that higher 30 range, they have some room to spare on something like this, but you definitely want to see him get it sooner rather than later. And Rory finishing up with a 34-50. So GG to him.
I don't believe much is going to be more than the door warps of last race.
God, I certainly hope not, Poogle.
That would be certainly something, setting 2 attempts at in consecutive races for most door warps.
Yeah, Nox's attempts all seem to be slightly late on the button press. If you press it late, you'll actually walk out the door. If you press it early, you'll see nothing happen. But if you press it on the right frame, you get in to the bottom of the dungeon. So Nox is through now. That was the 11th attempt. So fortunately not coming close to that record. But that may have done some serious damage to his PB potential. We'll get that update shortly. But now here we go with the final escape, Google.
Yeah, so as he's going through, he is going to be a nice shade of green. Oh, he's totally going for it.
We can't hear the audio on the restream here, but it looks like he didn't pull it off and maybe had actually spawned the bird, so he didn't actually have the ability to do it. He's actually just going for an intentional death and a retry it. That's he wants to pull off the swag. Maybe, now that the race is over, he doesn't really care so much about PB necessarily, or maybe his PB has that much room for improvement. Oh, well, that's damage, unfortunately.
Well, for those who have not seen this magical trick before, looks like he got the despawn. Or not. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the despawn might have been successful, but he just said, I'll only take 1 attempt at the grenade jump. In either case, unfortunately for him, PB was out of reach due to the door warp shenanigans. That's a real shame, but he can still pull out a time pretty close to his PB, which is always really impressive. And really, a solid overall run for Nox. Given his PB differential with Rory, he'll certainly be happy to only come in about 3 minutes behind. And now we're going to see some grenade jump.
He is going to go for this last one. Got plenty of energy to do it. Have to take a couple of attempts at this. There we go. And he is through third try.
Yeah, nicely done by Nox. He'll finish up with a low 38. Obviously, would not be enough to be able to overcome Rory's 34. But, you know, it's a long shot for Nox from the beginning. But I definitely feel like he was able to, you know, play to a level that he should be proud of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, that does mean that Roryrai is going to be facing Wilson next. And I'd love to see if we can't get both runners in here.
Yeah, we'll see. We do have Rory in standby right now, and as Nox finishes up, we'll find out whether Nox wants to join us or not. That is, of course, totally up to him, and we'll find out. But in the meantime, GG to Nox, finishing up at 38 minutes and 4 seconds. Just about 4 minutes, 3 minutes, that is, sorry, behind Rory. So, well done. But unfortunately, he will be knocked out as Rory will be moving on and facing his terrifying opponent, Wilson. I mean, on the bright side for Rory, Wilson doesn't have the world record anymore. That's really the only bright side, I guess, of that. But we are now joined in the call by Roryrai. GG, Rory. Congratulations on the victory today. I tried to combine the words victory and win. But, you know, tell us how you feel about your overall performance. I know you were kind of a little bit treating it as a PB attempt, but also you said your main goal was to win. So, you know, well, what are your thoughts overall?
Well, I accomplished my main goal. So that feels good, definitely. I think I was treating it as a PB attempt up until around Stomp, at which point, like, I knew I was behind at Stomp, and then I took the Death in the Poison Water and was like, all right, PB's done. So
makes sense.
After that, I just focused on safety strats and winning.
You were only a few seconds behind at Stomp, so that Poison Water is basically what sealed the deal, unfortunately.
That and Sad Celis.
Yeah, Sad Celis.
Yeah.
That occurred.
Not necessarily if you had gotten Crazy Juggle, but what?
Well, I mean,
what
I got it twice.
What were you feeling when lasers happens? I have to ask.
So, this is a problem that I routinely have with that trick, is that when I do Crazy Juggle, and I float up, and Frog breaks the ceiling, and then I just fall down normally, drop through the platform, and rocket jump, perfect laser cycle every time. When I stomp down and bash the frog, I hit the laser every time.
Oh, man.
So I knew as soon as I did that, oh, I'm just done. And sure enough, hit the laser.
It was really impressive that you were able to bring that backup strat for Sad Celis, and it's just unfortunate that it resulted in the laser death the first time, but fortunately for you, did not make a difference in the outcome of the race. We are also now joined by Nox-C2, who unfortunately is eliminated, but put on a really good show tonight, and also showed us a pretty different route for the left side of the map, as we call it. Nox, tell us about at what point you decided to do that route, and what's your thinking about that?
So I have the route planned as backup for Sad Celis, but as I was aware that this might be my last race of the tournament, and since I was watching the race stream, and during the casting I saw that I am behind, I decided that this is the only time I can do this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good mentality to have.
That is, I mean, that's a really clever backup for Sad Celis. Tell us a little bit about that. Do you get an extra point by virtue of the extra level that you take at the bottom of Valley, or like where's that point coming from, I guess?
So normally you level up on the mini boss, but what I was missing is the cell from the spikes. So I decided that instead of that 100 XP, I can take the one on the bottom of Valley, level up there, and also be at the bottom of Valley with 5 energy, which is great for Sorrow.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think overall that route is technically slower, but I really love, bringing that up as a backup for Sad Cellus. That's really clever. Actually, I might think about that for my own races.
I would love to see that.
So Rory, turning back to you, as the victor in this race, you get the distinct privilege of moving on to the round of 32 to face number 5 seed Wilson, who was upset and sent down here by Oshi. How do you feel about that matchup, and how are you thinking about that as you're going to go into it?
Well, so it's Wilson, so I'm not expecting anything spectacular, but I would love to upset him again. But I don't think it's going to be very close. I think it'll be relatively one-sided in his favor.
Is that kind of like a play your own game, just try your best and see what happens type of situation? Or are you going to try to go like do something crazy in that race to maybe overcome him?
Well, depending on when I can schedule with him and how much time I have to practice, I might try and work on some faster strats. Like I might try to do like the 5 HP swim. I might practice sea juggle more, things like that. But I think ultimately, like, when it comes down to it, that's going to be, like you said, just play my own race. I probably won't watch Wilson. Just focus on what I'm doing and try to do the best I can.
Yep, makes sense. That's a pretty good plan in speedrunning in general, and even in tournament play. Obviously, you're going to go up against much better opponents at some point, and unfortunately, sometimes that just means you really don't have the possibility of winning. But you never know what could happen, as we saw Wilson getting upset by a player with actually a similar PB to you, Rory. So you never know.
We'll have to see.
All right, Nox, I'll throw one more question towards Nox. As you were departing from the tournament, you were able to put on a pretty good show for us. You were able to make it this far into the round of 48 in the lower bracket. As your tournament comes to an end, will you be continuing to run Ori? Will you be thinking about other categories, focusing more on all skills, or will you be heading off to move on to another speed game?
I haven't decided yet. I'm still having a lot of fun with Ori. I haven't tried another category, so probably I will stick with the Ori. But for sure, I'm waiting for the next Ori game. So this is the time I plan to really increase my training.
Dude, we are all waiting for the next Ori game. Or even just any news about it whatsoever.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But we have any last thoughts for either of our two runners or questions?
Not particularly. I think you just about covered it, Villa.
Cool. Well, thank you both for joining us. Rory, again, GG on your victory, and good luck on your upcoming race against Wilson when you're able to get that scheduled.
Thank you. GG Nox.
GG, Rory, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Poogle. Well, that's it for us for this race, but we've got one more coming up today. What do we have?
That we do. We have got Smashy versus Lurking Assassin.
Oh, baby.
It's
That is
about
going to be a good one.
10 minutes.
Yep, and that is another lower bracket matchup coming to you from some other division.
The Phil
There are 8
division.
of them. I can't remember. Phil?
It's the Phil division.
This one's Phil.
No, this is the honor
one's not
division.
Phil.
I am looking at the wrong thing on schedule.
But yeah, that'll be good times. Stick around. That is going to be potentially a very, very good match. Both Smashy and Lurking working really hard on this game and trying their absolute best to keep their tournaments alive. But in the meantime, Poogle, thanks for joining me today. It was a pleasure commentating with you as always.
Always a pleasure memeing with you, Vula.
And stick around for 10 minutes, guys. Same channel will be right here with Lurking Assassin versus Smashy.